Three countries, one massive tournament, and a decision that has fundamentally changed the beautiful game forever. The United States, Canada, and Mexico, three nations that don't even share the exact same football culture, are coming together to host the absolute biggest sporting event on the planet. I gotta tell you, as a lifelong football fan, just thinking about the sheer scale of this collaboration gives me literal goosebumps. But here's the thing, right? This unprecedented mega tournament didn't just happen overnight. So let's dive right into this explainer and uncover the wild story of politics, billion-dollar ambitions, and the singular, bold idea that reshaped global football. It really begs one central question. Why on earth are three countries hosting the World Cup? To truly wrap our heads around this, we have to look back at the sacred traditions of the sport. For as long as most of us can remember, the World Cup was a solo act. The entire weight, the immense pressure, and all of the glory of hosting the world rested on the shoulders of just one single nation. It was this really romantic notion, a whole month where one specific country basically became the undisputed center of the universe. I mean, for decades, it was always one nation, one dream, one stage. Just think back to the vibrant, unbelievable carnival atmosphere of Brazil in 2014, or the historic, pulsating energy of South Africa in 2010, and the incredible, unified passion of Germany back in 2006. One nation, one stage. But behind the scenes, global football was growing at an absolutely explosive rate. We were talking billions of new fans, massive new television deals, and a hunger for the game that was spreading like wildfire across every single continent. The sport was just getting bigger, and FIFA knew the tournament had to reflect that reality. The moment everything completely pivoted was in 2016. FIFA dropped an absolute bombshell that just stunned the global football community. They announced a massive expansion of the World Cup. For those of us who live and breathe this sport, I mean, this was a total earthquake. They weren't just adding a team or two. They were fundamentally rewriting the entire blueprint of the greatest show on earth. Actually, let's put this into perspective. Think about the Qatar tournament in 2022, which featured 32 teams playing 64 matches. But for 2026, we are jumping up to 48 teams. Really think about that for a second. 16 extra nations, hundreds of extra players. Suddenly, you're looking at a logistical nightmare. You need way more stadiums, massive expansions in infrastructure, and state-of-the-art training facilities for a literal army of athletes. And the absolute craziest part is the match count, 104. The 2026 tournament will require 104 matches, all played out over just 39 days. That's 40 more games than we just saw in Qatar. The brutal truth of the matter is that no single country on Earth could realistically handle that kind of load alone today, not without spending tens of billions of dollars building massive new stadiums from the ground up just for a few weeks of football. FIFA was looking at an impossible math problem. So how do you solve an impossible math problem? Well, FIFA made a move it had never made in its 96-year history. They opened the door to a three-nation bid. And in April 2017, high atop the Freedom Tower in New York City, the heads of the United States, Canadian, and Mexican football federations stood side by side. Looking out over that iconic skyline, they made it official. They called it the United Bid, and they rallied under this incredibly powerful slogan, United as One. Of course, having a cool slogan is great, but they still had to actually win the rights. Fast forward a year later to the 2018 FIFA Congress in Moscow, literally right on the eve of the Russian World Cup. 203 FIFA member associations cast their votes, and the North American bid decisively crushed the competition. The United bid secured 134 votes, while Morocco, their only real competitor, walked away with just 65. And just like that, boom, the first ever three-nation World Cup was born. Sacred stadiums and records, the cultural weight.
Now, this isn't just about logistics or big numbers. It's deeply, deeply emotional. This is about what football means to the very fabric of North America, and a huge part of that is the 16 magnificent venues chosen for this tournament. What's absolutely wild is that all 16 of these massive coliseums are already built. There's no major ground-up construction required here. Just look at the capacity. We're talking an average of over 68,000 seats per stadium. The United States alone is bringing 11 of these massive venues to the table. You know, when the U.S. hosted back in 1994, it didn't just break attendance records, it birthed a brand new domestic league and permanently cemented soccer into the American sporting culture. To this day, that '94 tournament holds the all-time record for the highest average attendance in World Cup history. The passion has always been there, just waiting to explode in these state-of-the-art coliseums on the global stage once again.
Then, of course, we have the absolute foundational pillar of global football culture, Mexico. With this tournament, Mexico is making breathtaking history as the only country on the entire planet to host 3 World Cups: 1970, 1986, and now 2026. For millions of fans across Latin America and the world, having Mexico as a host, well, it just feels right. Honestly, it feels like football is coming home. Sacred football ground. That is truly the only way to describe Mexico's legendary Estadio Azteca, the site of the 2026 opener. When you step into that stadium, you aren't just in a sports arena. You are stepping into a cathedral of the sport. It's the exact same pitch where the great Pelé lifted the Jules Rimet trophy into the sun back in 1970. It's the very grass where Diego Maradona scored his legendary goal of the century in 1986. You can literally feel the ghosts of football's greatest legends in the concrete of that stadium. It's magical. And the culmination of this epic modern journey, that's going to happen in the United States. Out of those 11 incredible USA venues, the ultimate climax of the tournament will take place right in the shadow of New York City, MetLife Stadium. It's a true modern American Coliseum. On July 19th, after 103 grueling, beautiful, heart-stopping matches across 3 immense countries, the 2 best teams in the world will walk out onto that turf to finally crown a champion. So, what we are really watching here are 3 completely distinct, incredible journeys merging into one giant celebration. We have the United States bringing its record-shattering crowds and massive, state-of-the-art arenas. We have Canada experiencing this amazing coming-of-age moment. A nation that barely had a professional football culture 2 decades ago is now co-hosting the greatest show on earth. And we have Mexico bringing an unmatched, historic stadium legacy that is practically written into the DNA of the sport. 3 neighbors, different languages, different cultures, different football journeys, all choosing to stand together under one banner. Because football got bigger, the world demanded more, and one nation alone simply couldn't carry the weight of 48 teams and 104 matches anymore. I really hope this explainer has opened your eyes to exactly why the 2026 World Cup is going to be a spectacle unlike anything humanity has ever seen before. But hey, before we wrap up, I want to turn it over to you. Which country do you think is actually going to win it all in 2026? Are we going to see a brand new champion crowned in North America, or will a historic giant reclaim the throne? Think about it, and let's keep that passion for the beautiful game alive.